Hi, my name is Sumana Anam. Welcome to Centrify webinars. In this tutorial, I'd like to show you how to use our new ADCheck tool, which determines whether the target computer meets the system requirements necessary to install the direct control agent or the suite and join it to an Active Directory domain. The typical conditions that produce an error-free installation of the direct control agent on a Unix, Linux, or Mac agent are: the machine has supported operating system at an appropriate patch level, it has a supported version of Perl installed, it has enough available disk space to complete the installation, it can locate and contact the DNS servers, it can identify the configuration details of the Active Directory domain controllers, sites, domains, and forests. Through hundreds of successful customer deployments, we have often found that if the above-mentioned conditions are not met, it typically prevents successful installation and deployment of direct control. So to test for these conditions, help you identify the problems beforehand and fix them, we provide the ADCheck utility. With this background, now let's move on to the hands-on part of the tutorial. If you are on direct control versions earlier than 4.2, you can get ADCheck from the Centrify forums. And if you are on direct control version 4.2, it is a part of the package. For this tutorial, I have two machines. One is a Red Hat Enterprise Linux 5, and the other is a Windows machine, which is serving as the only domain controller for the Active Directory domain contoso.local. First, I'll be covering the direct control versions earlier than 4.2. I have already downloaded ADCheck onto the machine. It is a zip package, hence we need to first unzip it. Let's list the file to make sure it has the execute permissions. Then we are all set to run ADCheck. Okay, but if you're on direct control version 4.2, as I mentioned earlier, ADCheck is a part of the package. I've already installed direct control 4.2 on this machine. The ADCheck in direct control 4.2 can be found under the directory user share Centrify DC bin. Let's list ADCheck again, and it should be all set with the right permissions. Let's now launch ADCheck with -- help flag to find the options it supports. Some of the interesting options are -B, -X, and -T. In a large domain where there are more than 10 domain controllers, specify the -B flag and provide the appropriate number. -X can be used to generate XML file, and -T can be used to run only a subset of tests such as operating system checks or network diagnostic checks or AD domain controller checks. Let's now run ADCheck in my environment and go over some of the tests that it does. ADCheck does have one required field, which is the Active Directory domain name. In mine, it is contoso.local. The machine passed all the tests, but let me go over what are some of these tests. The first two are whether the operating system is a supported one and if it has the minimum required patches needed by direct control. The next one is a Perl check. If installed Perl is the right minimum version required by direct control. The next interesting one is a space check. It is looking for if there is enough space under /var, /usr, and /temp directories. The next two, it is looking for if the DNS servers configured in etcresult.conf are reachable or not. The next two are related to OpenSSH. It is checking for the OpenSSH version that is installed and if it is configured and supports spam. The rest are all domain controller tests. It looks up for all domain controllers in the domain and is doing the port scan to check if all required ports are opened or not. So the above output is how it looks like in an error-free environment. Let's see the output when ADCheck encounters a problem. One easy way to test a failure is by changing the DNS server configured in etcresult.conf and pointing it to a non-existent DNS server. Let's quickly change the IP address in etcresult.conf. Let's save the file and rerun ADCheck. ADCheck is now checking for the health of the DNS server. The test for DNS probe and DNS check are going to come back as failed. Let's give it a few more seconds for it to complete. If you see here, both DNS probe and DNS check have come back as failed. ADCheck also gives you a hint on how to fix it. Let's go back into the etcresult.conf and revert the IP address to the right one. And let's rerun ADCheck to make sure the machine passes all the tests. Now that the machine has passed all the tests by ADCheck, it is now ready to be joined to the domain successfully. With this, I conclude the ADCheck webinar. Hope it was useful, and please start using the ADCheck tool. I promise it is very helpful. Thank you.